Hi there! For this assignment, I decided to create a policy proposal that would address and put an end to period poverty in the United States. The policy I created is called the Women's Health Act. Throughout this presentation, I will be discussing my recommendations, providing an analysis, and also giving some background information on this topic. Okay, so to begin with, I'll be going over the introduction and then explaining why I chose this topic. So, women will spend thousands of dollars throughout their lifetime on feminine hygiene products that they desperately need. On average, one person could spend anywhere between $3,000 to a little over $5,000 on these products. 20% of girls, or 1 in 5 girls in America, have missed school because they could not afford these products. 1 in 4 women struggle to afford period products, and numerous are forced to compromise their hygiene and menstrual needs because of the hefty price of these items. Many have also admitted to trading in food stamps in exchange for pads and tampons. In result, period poverty occurs because women cannot afford or have access to these products. Period poverty can cause women to turn to unsafe alternatives and increase their risk for infection. Okay, so continuing on in the introduction, I chose this topic because I wanted to bring awareness to the topic of period poverty in the United States. For this class, while we were doing our weekly news article discussions a couple weeks back, I ran into an article that discussed how Scotland passed a bill to make period products free for all women in Scotland. Before this bill, 1 in 4 students in Scotland were missing school because they did not have access to these products. To combat this issue, they gave students free period products so they could stay in school. I thought this was an awesome idea, and I began to wonder, why doesn't America have a similar policy in place? Or is period poverty even a thing here? And just as Scotland had 1 in 4 girls who have missed school, 1 in 5 girls in America have missed school for the same reason. I believe there is a need for a policy to address this issue. I also think that period products should be considered a necessity instead of a luxury. If women are missing school or they're missing work or they've been in a situation to trade food stamps for their women's health, then that is not okay. Menstruation is a natural part of a woman's health that needs to be addressed. Menstrual products are a necessity, and if a woman cannot have access to affordable health care, it denies women of their basic human rights. Lastly, I want to bring awareness and try and end the stigma around menstruation. Even though it may be an awkward or an uncomfortable topic for many, it really should not be. We need to empower and support women through all stages of their life. Okay, so moving on to the recommendation part of this presentation. For my recommendation, there are 2 parts. Part 1 of my recommendation states that period products should be made free to all women living under the poverty line or at the poverty line. Women living under or at the poverty line should have access to free feminine hygiene products each month. To accomplish this, a federal assistance program would be created for people who menstruate to be able to purchase feminine products free of charge. They would receive financial support in a form of a reloadable card to buy personal hygiene products. In addition, I think this program could be expanded to help not just women. This program could help both men and women who live under the poverty line buy other hygiene necessities such as toothpaste, soap, and toilet paper. Okay, so the second part of my recommendation is removing the sales tax on feminine hygiene products. Right now, there are currently 36 states that have a sales tax on these products, and it is not exempt for taxes because it is legally not categorized as a necessity. The period tax adds an unfair financial burden on women that can range anywhere from 4.7 to 10.25%. People who live above the poverty line should be able to purchase these products at an affordable and a reasonable price. If these products have the tax exempt, they're going to be presenting these products as a necessity rather than a luxury. What led to my recommendations consisted of a couple things. First of all, there are currently no federal assistance programs that are able to provide individuals with assistance to buy personal hygiene products. WIC or SNAP does not allow individuals to purchase these personal hygiene products such as soap, toilet paper, toothpaste within their assistance program. I think my policy proposal and adding that part into the program that would allow people to buy personal hygiene products or tampons and pads would be beneficial because there is no program out there that is able to address these needs. In addition, another part that led me to my recommendation is I think giving women below or at the poverty line free period products would help with some of that financial burden. Women are no longer having to make the choice of buying period products or food or other necessities if they are having free period products. That extra money could be spent on bills or other necessities. Lastly, another thing that led to my recommendation was I was just surprised that period products are not considered a necessity in the United States. There are a couple of states that consider these a necessity and therefore have these products tax exempt, but the majority of states do not. I think the United States needs to change the ideology and stop considering these products as a luxury. If this sales tax is uplifted, it would eliminate an unfair financial burden that is specifically targeted towards women, and I believe it would promote gender equality. Okay, so now I will be discussing some of the background information regarding period poverty. Period poverty has been around in the United States and throughout the world for several decades. It is a topic that tends to be tucked under the rug and forgotten about by many. Until 1976, period products were considered a cosmetic under the Food and Drug Administration. A cosmetic is usually considered a luxury or an optional item, and that might be one of the reasons why people still view these products as non-essential today. However, there has been progress to battle period poverty. In 2016, New York created the first legal menstrual equality legislation that requires schools, homeless shelters, correctional facilities to provide free period products. Since 2016, 12 other states have followed in New York's footsteps and have created similar policies. For example, Illinois has also followed New York's footsteps and created a policy that requires schools, public schools, to have period products in their facilities and be free to students. So I think that's a really neat idea and just one simple way that period poverty can be addressed. Another thing that is important to note around history is the stigma around menstruation. People feel uncomfortable, ashamed, embarrassed, scared. There's a lot of emotions that come around, and overall, menstruation has just been viewed as an awkward topic to discuss around others. I received my background information from a variety of sources. My research process consisted of looking up articles on our school's online database as well as Google Scholar. These databases were able to provide me with Three articles in particular that were helpful with learning about the history of period poverty in the United States. The articles I found are listed on the screen. I found my articles from the American Civil Liberties Union, a Wisconsin Law Review, May-June 2017, in addition to the Business, Entrepreneurship, and Tax Law Review, Spring 2017, Volume 1. I conducted my analysis by looking at other arguments and ideologies. Some have argued that there have been other means for women to handle their menstruation. For example, a woman could use cloth or toilet paper and get by with that each month. However, that might not be realistic for every woman's lifestyle. Every person has the right to privacy and dignity, and it could be embarrassing for a woman to not be able to use products created for her specific health needs. Even though it would be a cost-saving measure to use toilet paper or cloths, a woman should be able to have access to health products that she feels comfortable and confident with. If women do not have access to some of these period products, it could also force them to use other unsafe alternatives, which could increase the risk for infection. The other argument that was identified was the loss of revenue for the governments and states without the sales tax on these products. Even though the removal of the sales tax would be a loss of money, is it fair or even ethical that products that are specifically targeted for men are considered a necessity and therefore being tax exempt? According to an article by Jennifer Bennett, it's called The Tampon Tax, Sales Tax, Menstrual Hygiene Products, and Necessity Exceptions. In almost every state, Viagra, which is a men's health product, is tax exempt. So, if almost all men's health products are being tax exempt, why aren't women's health included in the category of being a necessity? The removal of this sales tax would then promote gender equality. In conclusion, this policy would end period poverty in the United States. This policy would give women below or at the poverty line access to free period products. In addition, the sales tax on period products would be eliminated. This policy will help keep women in school and work while overall improving their well-being. Access to affordable and safe period products should be considered a human right because everyone is entitled to quality health care. This policy will promote social justice and gender equality for all.